There are 500,000 people on the eastern shore who've been impacted by the increasing sediment spills from the dam. What assurances can you offer to them that the 185 million tons of sediment behind the dam is being addressed?
Exelon is currently in the process of relicensing for Conowingo. The final license application was filed in August of 2012. That final license application included studies that also included information regarding sediment, such as 2011 bathymetry. We looked at a USGS model and compared it to existing literature data describing sediment transport in the lower Susquehanna River and Chesapeake Bay. Exelon also currently participates in the lower Susquehanna River Watershed assessment with the Army Corps, Maryland Department of Environment, and other agency and stakeholder individuals. Because sediment is an important aspect to the Chesapeake Bay, lower Susquehanna River, and currently Conowingo has been serving as one of the largest best management practices for the bay by trapping 2 million tons of sediment per year. So our participation in the lower Susquehanna River watershed assessment and the SRBC's sediment task force is an important part in moving forward a process that allows scientifically data-driven results and or recommendations to inform sediment decisions that are made regarding management of sediment behind Conowingo as well as other reservoirs present in the lower Susquehanna River system.
There is concern on the eastern shore that the relicensing negotiations are taking place with roughly 20 unnamed parties. Will there be a point where the public and the media get to know what happened during these negotiations, and will the public have a chance to have input?
Yes, Exelon is currently in the process of relicensing. We filed the final license application for Conowingo in August 2012. From that point, the integrated licensing process with FERC sets forth a process where negotiations happen with agency stakeholders as well as other stakeholders on specific areas of interest that were part of the studies filed with the license application. Following that, FERC issued their Ready for Environmental Analysis in April of this year, which essentially sets forth a timeline where preliminary recommendations or prescriptions from agencies such as Maryland DNR, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and many others set forth things that they want to see in the license moving forward. That deadline is September 30th of this year. Following that, the public will again have a point to provide comment to FERC for the process on things that have been sort of devised and not agreed upon but suggested as part of the negotiation so that the public is incorporated into the process.
So at that point they'll know what happened between August 2012 and September of this coming year.
Correct. They will see the preliminary recommendations from the stakeholders
and there'll be a public record of the deliberations of everything that was discussed.
That I can't speak to. FERC would have to answer that question in terms of how those things are presented on the FERC website, but anything that's filed as part of the formal process for FERC will be public information.
During these relicensing negotiations, has there been any discussion about actually dredging the dam, removing sediment from behind the dam?
Sediment is one of the aspects that is currently in discussion as part of the negotiations, as part of the integrated licensing process. Options that are being considered for sediment management as part of the lower Susquehanna River watershed assessment include things such as dredging, as well as sediment options for management in the reservoirs themselves, and also how can we potentially recycle or reuse sediment in other manners for beneficial use.
There is concern in the watershed states that the local WIPs will not have been implemented in time before the dam reaches capacity. Is there a contingency to dredge and create more storage capacity until the WIPs are fully implemented and online?
Contingencies with respect to the WIPs will need to be addressed by EPA that is part of the purview of the TMDL for the Chesapeake Bay. However, we feel it's important to participate in the lower Susquehanna River watershed assessment because part of that modeling aspect that's being handled by the Army Corps of Engineers is looking at ways to manage sediment. So they're looking at pros and cons using modeling to evaluate sediment transport scenarios to make informed and scientifically based decisions about how to handle sediment moving forward. The results of those analyses will be important in making regional watershed approach decisions for the watershed so that source reduction can occur and decisions about how sediment behind Conowingo or the other reservoirs is handled moving forward.
There is concern below the dam, in the communities below the dam on the eastern shore, that once you've gotten your relicensing, once you're in the game now for another 46 years to operate the dam, that you're going to kind of relax your position and kind of walk away from your commitments for sediment management and nutrient management here.
Exelon takes very seriously its environmental compliance obligations as well as other safety and other regulations. Our license as well as our other environmental permits are very important to us, and we would simply not walk away from them. In addition, FERC sets up a process for licenses where we're bound by that compliance, we're bound by those obligations, we have to demonstrate our compliance. Furthermore, for other facilities, dams, etc., similar to Conowingo, you can't simply walk away from a project. FERC actually has laws and regulations prohibiting that, and there's a process for that similar to the process of relicensing.